Lily lived in a small, simple building on the outskirts of town. It was just one room, with a bed, a table, and a chair. She didn't have much, but it was enough for her. People in town thought Lily was a bit strange. She would often talk to herself and laugh without reason. Some said she was mad. Despite her condition, Lily was pregnant. She didn't know who the father was, and she didn't seem to care. She just knew she was having a baby, and that was all that mattered. The building she lived in was old and worn out. The walls were cracked, and the windows were broken. But Lily didn't mind. She liked it that way. It was quiet, and she could be alone with her thoughts. People would sometimes see Lily wandering around town, muttering to herself. She would buy food from the market and then disappear into her building. Some tried to talk to her, but she wouldn't respond. She just smiled and nodded. As her pregnancy progressed, Lily's behavior became more erratic. She would laugh loudly for no reason and sometimes cry without warning. People started to avoid her, fearing she might be contagious or something. Despite all this, Lily seemed happy. She would sing to her belly, telling her baby stories and jokes. She believed her child would be special, someone who would understand her and love her for who she is. As the days went by, Lily's belly grew bigger. She would hold it and talk to it, saying things like, "You're going to be a good baby, aren't you?" Or "I love you so much already." The townspeople would whisper to each other when they saw Lily. Some said she was possessed, while others thought she was just lost her mind. But Lily didn't care. She knew she was having a baby, and that was all that mattered. One day, a young lady named Sophia saw Lily sitting outside her building, holding her belly. Sophia was rich and lived in a big mansion on the other side of town. She had heard about Lily, but she had never seen her up close. Sophia felt a pang of pity for Lily. She couldn't imagine how hard it must be for a pregnant woman to live alone in such a small, run-down building. Sophia decided to visit Lily the next day. She brought some food and fruits, hoping to help her out. But when she approached Lily, she was met with hostility. "Get away from me, thief!" Lily shouted, waving her hands. "I don't need your charity." Sophia was taken aback, but she didn't give up. She visited Lily again the next day. And the day after that. Each time, Lily would chase her away, calling her names and throwing things. But Sophia kept coming back. She could see the pain and loneliness in Lily's eyes, and she wanted to help. One day, Sophia brought Lily's favorite food, jollof rice and chicken. She also brought some fresh fruits, including oranges and bananas. Lily's eyes widened when she saw the food, but she still looked wary. Sophia sat down next to her and said, "Lily, I only care about you. I mean no harm. I just want to be your friend." Lily looked at Sophia suspiciously, but the smell of the food was too tempting. She started eating, and Sophia joined her. They ate in silence, but Sophia could see the tension in Lily's body start to ease. After they finished eating, Sophia suggested they play a game. Lily agreed, and they played cards together. For the first time in a long time, Lily felt like she had someone to talk to, someone who didn't judge her or try to change her. From that day on, Sophia visited Lily every day. They would eat together, play games, and talk about their lives. As Sophia and Lily's friendship grew stronger, people started to wonder why Sophia would invest so much time and effort into befriending someone like Lily. Sophia's friends would often ask her, "Why are you wasting your time with her? She's unstable, to say the least." Sophia's friends would whisper to each other, "Sophia's going to get hurt one day. Lily's mental problems are going to rub off on her, or worse, she'll lash out at Sophia when she's having one of her episodes, but Sophia wouldn't listen. She would tell them, "You don't understand. Lily's not just a person with mental problems, she's a human being who needs love and care. I've seen the good in her, and I know she's capable of so much more." Sophia's friends would shake their heads, concerned for her well-being. "Sophia, you're a kind person, but Lily's not worth the risk. She's going to drag you down with her problems," but Sophia refused to give up on Lily. She saw something in Lily that others didn't, a deep sadness and a longing for connection. Sophia believed that with patience, love, and care, Lily could overcome her challenges and live a happier life. As Sophia continued to spend time with Lily, she started to notice small changes in her behavior. Lily would smile more often, and her laughter would ring out clear and bright. Sophia's friends might not understand why she was investing so much in their friendship. But Sophia knew that she was making a difference in Lily's life. One day, Sophia's friends asked her again, "Sophia, why are you doing this? You're putting yourself at risk for someone who's not even stable." Sophia looked at them with conviction and said, "Because I care about Lily. She's my friend, and I want to help her through the tough times. I know she's worth it." And with that, Sophia continued to stand by Lily, through the good times and the bad, as their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Sophia's fiancé, Marcus, had always been protective, sometimes too much. When Sophia insisted on visiting Lily, who had long struggled with a fragile mental state, Marcus grew increasingly anxious. He believed Lily could be a danger to herself or others, especially with her unpredictable episodes. He begged Sophia to reconsider. "She needs help, not a visitor," he argued one evening, voice tight with frustration. "You don't know what she's capable of." But Sophia did know. She had grown up beside Lily, seen her strength, her gentleness, how illness hadn't stripped away her humanity. "She's like my sister, Marcus. She needs me now more than ever." Their conversations turned into fights. Tension brewed like a storm in the air, each disagreement driving a wedge between them. Sophia spent more time away, at Lily's small apartment, bringing meals, cleaning, talking to her, just being there. Marcus felt abandoned, confused, and scared, convinced Sophia's loyalty was misplaced, but one day, everything changed. Marcus stopped by unexpectedly. He found the two friends laughing quietly in the garden, Lily's hands in the soil, carefully tending to a patch of flowers Sophia had helped her plant. There was a peace on Lily's face he hadn't thought possible, and a calmness in Sophia's eyes that melted something hard inside him. That night, Marcus didn't argue. Instead, he held Sophia's hand and said, "I see it now. I didn't understand, but I do. She's better with you around. I was wrong." Sophia smiled through her tears. She just needed someone to believe in her. Months passed. Lily's health stabilized with support and therapy, and joy returned to her life in unexpected ways. On a quiet spring morning, she gave birth to a baby boy, Ryan. The birth was complicated, but both mother and child were safe. Sophia was there, of course, holding Lily's hand through the labor, whispering words of strength. Marcus waited outside, pacing nervously. When the nurse finally opened the door and let him in, he saw Lily cradling the newborn, and Sophia beaming beside her. Lily looked up, exhausted but glowing. "He's my second chance," she whispered. Marcus stepped closer, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "He's lucky to have the both of you." In the first few weeks after giving birth, Lily seemed radiant. She doted on little Ryan with a kind of fierce, instinctual love that warmed everyone around her. But soon, the cracks began to show. sleepless nights turned into delusions. Her words became erratic. She claimed Ryan was speaking to her, telling her things no newborn could say. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping, and refused to let anyone else hold the baby, even Sophia. Her hands trembled constantly, and her eyes flickered with fear of shadows only she could see. At first, Sophia tried to manage it quietly. She stayed over most nights, helped with feedings, tried to keep Lily grounded. But nothing worked. Lily began hiding knives under her pillow, insisting they were to protect Ryan from the people watching us. Once, Marcus walked in to find Lily rocking Ryan violently, whispering that the voices wouldn't get him if she stayed awake. Lily would abandon Ryan sometime, she would leave him go hungry, Ryan will be crying but Lily do not even care about him. One night, Marcus and Sophia sat at the kitchen table, the air thick with dread. "We can't leave Ryan with her anymore," Marcus said, his voice heavy. "She's not safe, not for him, not for herself." Sophia's heart broke with every word. "She'll hate me if we take him away. She'll hate herself if something happens to him." Sophia wiped away tears as she nodded, knowing it was true. The next morning, Sophia gently told Lily that she and Marcus were going to take Ryan just for a few days, to give you some rest. Lily screamed, sobbed, clawed at Sophia's arms, begging not to lose her son. As they left Lily's house, Ryan was asleep in his car seat. Sophia turned to Marcus. Her voice was barely a whisper. "I feel like I'm betraying her." "No," Marcus said, holding her hand tightly. "You're saving them both." They drove home in silence, the baby breathing softly in the back seat. From that day on, Lily became a haunting presence at Sophia and Marcus's gate. Almost every morning, she'd appear, sometimes with wild eyes and torn clothes, other times strangely composed, hair brushed, eyes clear as if her mind had returned just enough to remember who she truly was. "I know he's here," she'd say, knocking gently, or pounding if no one answered. "He's my son. Ryan is mine. You know he is." Sophia would hide inside, clutching Ryan, Daniel, to her chest as if afraid the boy might somehow remember, might be taken from her by a ghost with his eyes. Marcus, though more composed, was growing weary. He'd try reasoning with Lily, but how do you explain to a mother that she's unfit to raise her child? "Lily," he said one morning, blocking the gate, "we can't give him to you. You're not well. You forget where you are sometimes. Last week, you walked into traffic." "I remember now," Lily snapped, her voice quivering. "I know who I am. I know who he is. You took him when I was broken. You knew I was broken." The neighbors were starting to talk louder now. People were beginning to piece things together. Some even began to believe Lily's story. Whispers reached the local church. The market women, once dismissive, now glanced at Sophia with suspicion. Still, Sophia and Marcus held on to Ryan. They told themselves it was for his safety, for stability. They gave him love, shelter, education. But at night, when Lily's cries echoed down the street, and Ryan would look up from his toys and ask, "Why is that woman always calling my name?" The guilt clawed deeper, but Sophia would say nothing to Ryan, she would only tell him forget about it. That night, after putting the child to sleep and drawing every curtain closed, Sophia sat on the couch, her hands still shaking. Hours passed before the sound of a car in the driveway pulled her from her thoughts. Marcus was home. He walked in, loosened his tie, and kissed her on the cheek, but paused when he saw her pale face. "What's wrong?" he asked. Sophia hesitated, then told him everything. How Lily had shouted, followed her, and now sat outside their gate, accusing her of stealing her son. Marcus's expression darkened with concern, but not surprise. He sat down beside her and took her hand. "Sophia," he said softly, "you need to let this go. Lily's not well. You know that. She's been in and out of facilities for years. The doctors said she has memory problems, delusions. She probably doesn't even realize what she's saying." "But Marcus," Sophia said, voice tight, "she recognized me. She knew. I saw it in her eyes. What if? What if I did something wrong back then? What if I did take him when she wasn't able to stop me?" "You didn't take him," Marcus said firmly. "You saved him. Don't forget what you told me, she abandoned him. He was alone. Hungry. You did what you had to do." Sophia lowered her eyes, guilt still pressing down like a stone. But what if she was just sick? What if she needed help, not to have her son taken away? Marcus stood and walked to the window, looking down at the dim figure still sitting by the gate. "She'll forget again," he said. "Just like before. Let her sit there. Eventually, someone will take her back to the facility." Days turned into weeks, but Lily never stopped. She came to the gate every morning, shouting, "Thieves! You took my baby. Give me back my son." Her voice cracked from yelling, her eyes wild with fury and pain. Passers-by shook their heads or hurried by, avoiding the scene. But Lily didn't care. This was her child, and she knew it now. No one could convince her otherwise. Sophia stopped going to the market. Marcus threatened to call the authorities. "She's harassing us," he said. "It's harassment, Sophia. We can't live like this." But Sophia couldn't stop the gnawing feeling inside her. She avoided her son's questions, smiled through the confusion in his eyes, and said, "She's just sick. Baby. Don't listen to her." But the boy grew. By the time he was 17, tall and thoughtful with Sophia's quiet eyes and Marcus's steady posture, the shouting woman at the gate wasn't just a stranger anymore. She was a question he couldn't escape. One evening, he came inside after hearing Lily's voice rise again. She had screamed the words like they were her final breath, "You're my son. They took you from me. You're mine." He found Sophia in the kitchen and said quietly, "Tell me the truth." Sophia froze. "What do you mean?" "That woman. She's been yelling for years. Everyone calls her mad. But she calls me her son. And you always go quiet when I ask about it. So tell me the truth." Marcus came in from the other room. "You don't need to listen to her, tell me." The boy snapped, louder than either of them had ever heard. Sophia's face crumpled. She sat down at the table, shoulders trembling. "We didn't mean for it to go this far," she whispered. "You were just a baby. She left you in a park. Alone. I found you. You were hungry, crying. I didn't know what else to do. She was sick," Marcus added. "She wasn't fit to raise a child. We took you in. Gave you a life." The boy, Lily's boy, stepped back, breath shaky. "So she's my mother?" He covered his face, his whole world unraveling. The walls of the home he'd always known now felt foreign. The woman who'd kissed his bruises and the man who taught him how to ride a bike, they weren't his parents. And outside, through the locked gate, his real mother still waited. Lily's son had begun visiting her more often, each time bringing thoughtful gifts, flowers, warm clothes, and little trinkets that made her smile. With each visit, the cold distance between them melted a little more. He helped her around the house, sat with her for long talks, and even cooked her favorite meals. Though her health had been declining, these moments seemed to breathe life back into her. Then one morning, Lily didn't come out of her room. Her son found her weak and struggling to speak. Panicking, he rushed her to the hospital. The doctors admitted her immediately, and he sat by her bedside, holding her hand. To his surprise, Lily slowly opened her eyes and managed a faint smile. With all the strength she could gather, she whispered, "Call Sophia and Marcus. Please." Within hours, Sophia and Marcus arrived. They were unsure what to expect, given their painful history with Lily. But as they entered the room, Lily's gaze softened. She reached out and took both their hands. "I was wrong," she said, her voice trembling. "I was wrong to call you thieves. To let bitterness blind me. Please. Forgive me. And please. Always take my son as your own. He needs family." Tears filled Marcus and Sophia's eyes. Sophia knelt beside her and said, "We forgive you, Lily. And we promise, we'll love him as our own. Always." Marcus nodded, his voice thick. "You have our word." Lily's son stood quietly, overwhelmed, watching the people he loved come together. Lily gave them all a weak smile. "That's all I ever wanted. Peace. Love. For my son to never be alone." With her final breath, Lily whispered a blessing over them and closed her eyes for the last time. They all cried bitterly, holding one another in grief. Her death marked the end of a long chapter of pain, but also the beginning of a new story. Months later, they held a beautiful, heartfelt burial for Lily. Friends, neighbors, and distant family came to pay their respects. A year after Lily's passing, the bond between Sophia and Marcus deepened. What had begun as a shared commitment to care for Ryan evolved into something tender and enduring. Surrounded by healing, love, and the quiet blessings of a reconciled past, they got married in a small but beautiful ceremony. Ryan stood proudly by Marcus's side, wearing a matching suit, smiling through tears of joy. In time, Sophia gave birth to 3 children, a boy first, then 2 girls. Their home was soon filled with the laughter of children, the smell of baked cookies, and the warmth of a family built on love, not just blood. But one day, as Sophia watched her children play in the yard, a strange longing tugged at her heart. She turned to Marcus and said, "I want us to have another baby. Another little boy." Marcus chuckled softly, setting down his book. "Sophia, we already have 2 sons." She looked at him, puzzled. "2?" He gently took her hand. "Ryan. He's our first son, remember? The one who made us a family before anyone else arrived." Tears welled in Sophia's eyes, not from sadness, but from a deep sense of completeness. "You're right," she whispered. "He's always been our son." From that day forward, Ryan was never just Lily's boy. He was Ryan Bennett, the beloved first son of Sophia and Marcus. His younger siblings adored him, followed him everywhere, and looked up to him with pride. And Ryan, once a boy burdened by loss and uncertainty, grew into a man surrounded by love, belonging, and purpose. Their house echoed with music, mischief, and endless stories. And at its heart was a family that chose each other, again and again.